Hi everyone, welcome to demo day for Le Wagon's batch 696. My name is Edvar, and I'm the founder of Le Wagon Istanbul. I'll also be your host this evening. I'm speaking to you from our Galata campus, which is engulfed in rain at the moment. I've got my students, thank you, Hendrik, I appreciate it. I've got my students next to me, not all of them, but some of them, the rest are remote. And on the right, I've got a lovely rainy view of the Bosphorus. I'm sorry we couldn't do this in person, this demo day in person, because of COVID, but I'm very grateful to all of you who have joined us, even though I'm sure, like us, you're very fed up with video calls and webinars by now. Please feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat section. I see one of my alumni, Hendrik from Belgium, there already, and Yair, our teacher. So the more the merrier. We're really curious to hear who you are and where you're joining from. Meanwhile, today is demo day. It's a very special day because today the students will be showcasing the amazing skills they've developed and also the amazing products they've developed over the past 9 weeks. Batch 696 was a very special batch for me. First of all, it was a record-breaking batch in terms of numbers. When I launched Le Wagon in Istanbul last year, we created really the first intense coding bootcamp ever in Turkey. But 3 weeks later, the pandemic struck and all of us had to live with a lot of uncertainty. So I'm even more grateful to this batch for placing their faith in us and helping to make Le Wagon in Istanbul a reality. Secondly, it was also a record-breaking batch in terms of how many women signed up. Promoting women in tech is something we take very seriously. We care about it a lot. So I was very happy to welcome 4 Turkish women to this batch. They kept the batch diverse and well-behaved as well. Diversity is one of the key words here. So I wanted to mention a few of the different backgrounds of the students, because before any student joins, I always ask them, tell me a little bit about where you're coming from, your background, your previous career, and especially where you eventually want to end up, so that we can figure out together how we can make that happen. So during the bootcamp, we had a great combination of people. We had recent graduates in literature and linguistics who were looking for their first professional jobs and who I'm sure have a bright career in tech ahead of them. We had 2 experts in the oil and gas industry who are interested in harnessing software to innovate and improve safety in the industry. We also had private teachers and tutors. They've been immersed in education for many years, but wanted to apply their talents for learning to an exciting new industry with perhaps a better work-life balance. We also had freelancers, documentary makers, and designers, people with a natural creative gift who are looking for new ways to satisfy their creative urges by applying those skills to a booming tech industry. We also had one activist who was inspired by how technology can be leveraged to promote causes that matter to her, and who discovered how much fun coding can be and chose a new career path in tech. So I wanted to recognize the diversity of the badge because I hope it will inspire more people to learn how to code by seeing all these different backgrounds that we have with us here today, so that more and more people can improve their lives through getting into the tech industry. Don't forget, only 9 weeks ago, none of our students had any idea how to code, but through sheer hard work, they achieved something very special. I had students, I'll be honest, I had students in the first week who told me they couldn't do this. They thought, I can't learn how to code. It's too difficult, it's too intense. But thankfully, they stuck with the program, and I'm very happy to say they're still here today. We're all exhausted, but that's normal in an immersive bootcamp. Now, 9 weeks later, the students that had any doubts, I'm sure they don't have any doubts anymore. And I certainly don't. We spent 500 hours coding together in the last 45 days, and I'm now more convinced than ever that our students will succeed. In fact, one of the companies that has hired several of our alumni has literally said in the past, quote unquote, if you can succeed at Le Wagon, then you can succeed in almost any tech job. And that's something I definitely believe in too. So now it's time to see what our students have created. 9 weeks ago, they had no idea how to code. 2 weeks ago, they came to me with ideas on pen and paper, Post-its, iPads. And today those ideas have become products after only 9 days of coding. So let's celebrate just how far this batch has come with 3 demos of what they've built. After the 3 demos, you can ask any questions you might have. I'll remind you, but you can just type the questions in the chat section on the right, and I'll then invite the presenter onto the stage to answer you. By the way, we have been experiencing some strange Wi-Fi activity today, ironically, considering it's demo day. It might be competitors who are trying to hack us, you never know. If there are any interruptions, please be patient, because you're going to get a recording of this anyway afterwards. But for now, let's get started with the demos. The first up today, we have UpNext. So Ilias, why don't you come and join us on the stage?
Hi everyone.
Hey, you want to try and mute your microphone when I'm speaking because we're in the same room.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Thank you. So Ilias, welcome to the stage. How are you today?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Curious what you've built. Don't forget to mute your microphone because we're in the same room. Thank you. All this coordination is difficult with this hybrid system. So how do you feel about reaching the end of the bootcamp, Ilias?
I feel very good. I feel very confident, actually. Like 9 weeks ago, I was in a totally different place. Right now, I'm in a completely different place. I feel very positive for the future and my career. I think everything will be fine.
And what was the best moment for you?
The best moment, there was a restaurant down the street and they were like really good burritos. So I think that was fine. Nah, that was a joke. Sorry. That wasn't that good. Yeah. The best part was I think you guys know how to teach, how to show where to look for the knowledge. I think the best part about level 1 is that they show you how to search and find the knowledge and the wisdom.
We teach you how to learn.
Yeah.
So what inspired your app idea?
My inspiration was in Istanbul we have very good restaurants, like good quality food and everything, but the service is not always so great, and the reservation is always a problem. So my motivations are usually the find a better way to like book your table and the ordering process, just to make it better. Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. All right, Ilias, why don't you take it away and share your screen?
Okay. So, okay. So I'll just start, right? Okay. So I'm the kind of person who loves eating out. That's why I'm a big fan of Istanbul. This city has tons of restaurants and the service is really great. But when I'm hungry, I still find it hard to think of which restaurant to go to. It's hard to remember all the amazing restaurants out there, and often there are new ones too. And at the same time, after the COVID, the restaurants are more full than ever, which means when I go and eat out, often I have to wait ages before I get a table. It could be like 20 or 30 minutes wait sometimes, and many restaurants don't take reservations, or I have to call them multiple times to get their attention. So we decided to build UpNext. Using UpNext, you can find your favorite restaurant, create your order from the menu, send your order, book your table, take a seat, and get served easily. So first of all, I know for a fact that after today's demo, I'm going to be really hungry. So we've been coding for 45 days, and it's been intense. So I want to reward myself after this. I know I'm going to be hungry, but I don't know is where I want to eat just yet. As I said, there's so much choice out there, and I can't remember all the restaurants. So let's start by taking a look at what restaurants are out there. Go to my search button, and I'll type Istanbul here. Restaurants. Now I can see an overview of all the restaurants here in my neighborhood. Now I can see an overview of all the different restaurants nearby that I can choose from. Great thing about this app is that I can be inspired by the names, their reviews, where they are located, and their cuisine. Sometimes you really need to be inspired by the cuisine. And scrolling through it, and I'm not really in the mood for kebab, but I definitely want a steak. So let me take a more detailed look at this restaurant. Now I can see a more detailed overview of the restaurant. Of course, all this information is great, but the most important thing is the food. And what awesome is, I can check out the entire menu. Normally, this only exists for online delivery platforms like UpNext or on individual restaurants' website, but in UpNext, you can browse hundreds of restaurants in one place. And I like the look of this menu. Plus, there's a brilliant picture of the food to whet my appetite. So I'm going to eat here after demo day. Now it's time to order the food in advance. Let's see. I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna get a starter. I'll get the Sunset Caesar salad or starter. I'll add it to my order. And what's cool about UpNext is that you can actually see the ratings of an individual dish here. Let's see, this is like 4 stars. This has 5 stars. And yeah, I've seen it anywhere else before. Now it's time to order the main dish. And scrolling through, and I think T-bone steak looks nice. I'll add it to my order. And I'm also so thirsty, I'll get a drink too. Okay, I'll add this one to my order. Now I've added all my food items to the order. It's time to take a detailed look at the order. So go to my reservation page. Here I can see all my orders and the total price. Everything is there. I haven't forgotten anything. There's no way they can get my order wrong or overcharge me. Now that I know exactly what I'm gonna eat, it's time to book my table. So I'll choose 7:15 tonight and put my name, and I'll add my notes here to restaurant. And I'll submit reservation. Yeah. Yeah, making a reservation is one of the things I hate most. So I have to find the phone number of the restaurant, wait for them to pick up, etc. Here, all I have to do is to choose when I want to eat and book the table. The restaurant has confirmed my order, the price and time, so I can confidently leave demo day, walk over to the restaurant and grab my table. So what's up next? Well, a fantastic hassle-free meal, of course. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, guys.
Well done, Ilyas. Congratulations. Thank you very much, Ilyas. You can mute yourself again.
Yeah. And I also thank my team and my teachers and everybody.
Well done.
Yeah.
Very good form. Okay, Ilyas. So
Okay. I'll
mute yourself.
Okay.
Thank you. Well done, Ilyas. You did a great job.
No, thank you.
I'm going to remove your stream now and then say how happy I am with your performance. You did a great job. It wasn't easy. I know you had one of the smallest teams, and also your team was part remote as well. So well done. Well done for what you achieved. I love what you created. just the other day, I had to wait 30 minutes at a restaurant to get served, and I was getting very frustrated. So I like the idea. I get it. And this is a great example of a minimum viable product. So like a very simple first phase of a startup. It's something you could use to validate the concept. And I'm really curious to see where you take this idea. So thanks again. Next up, we have Easy BOP. So I'm going to welcome Tural onto the stage, please. Let's just wait for him to join us. Hey, Tural.
Hello, Ron. Hi.
How are you today?
I'm feeling okay. Yes, I'm good.
Brilliant.
How are you?
How do you feel now that you've reached the end of the bootcamp?
Actually, it was a good journey for me. I traveled to Istanbul for that, and I feel happy that I feel lucky that I have done this bootcamp. I enjoyed it.
And looking back, what have you enjoyed the most? Was it projects weeks or?
Actually, starting from first week, we started with Yair, and then we are finishing with Sheila. In both sections, it was enjoyable. In the first part, we have seen how to use our logic to build the software side. But with Sheila, we learned how to deploy our websites to the live internet.
Okay, brilliant, Tural. Well, why don't you start by telling us what inspired you to create Easy BOP, and then you can take it away from there. Okay, good luck.
Yeah, actually, my inspiration is coming from my personal background, which I am coming from the oil field industry, and there are so many still, although it's developed industry, we are using the old ways of workflows, and there are big room for improvement. That's why we built the application, which is called Smart-BOP. And visible, as it's visible from its background, his project related to oil industry, but I will try to make it as clear as possible for you. And again, repeating my background, I am the site leader in the offshore field, which looks like similar to this rig. This is rig, and my duty is to conduct the operations, to lead the operations, to drill the oil wells, to reach the oil reservoirs and produce the oil for the usage. And there are so many critical equipments in the rig that we are using to do these operations. And one of these critical equipment is called BOP, which stands for blowout preventer. And the blowout preventer, as it is visible from its name, it prevents any potential explosions, it prevents any potential oil spills, and it avoids potential hazard to human safety and operational safety. And as it is critical, there's regulation that this equipment should be tested every 3 weeks by regulation. However, it is done every 3 weeks. They are still using paper-based forms. The approval process of the test documentation is still complex, and still we don't have one base database for the referring back whenever it's needed. That's why we built Smartbop. And the main advantage of Smartbop for the frontline oil workers will be that we will actively use data. So we will record all the data that happened during the test. We are using online forms, so it is much easier to fill the forms rather than using paper-based tools, and it will simplify the workflow of the oil field workers. And eventually, our aim is to make a history, to have modern approach to oil field industry. Okay, let me start. So after signing in as a well-site leader from my company, here I can see my position, the rig that I am working in, and the BOP, the equipment details that I have, and the rig name that is assigned to. And also, I can observe the pressure tests that applied to that BOP every 3 weeks. And in my dashboard, it is similar view, but the main difference is that here I can again go back to my test details. I can see a bit more details about each BOP test. Also, the most important part is that I can add a new test. So I will ask for your patience in this moment because there's lots of technical parameters that need to be filled, and I will just quickly try to fill it. So the real operation in the real life usually takes about 8 to 9 hours, 8 to 10 hours. And one of the most difficult part of it is actually to document it. Rather than doing the real operation, it's filling the form itself. So there are equipment checklists that we need to run during the operations, and I am filling them. And there are some technical parameters. And additional feature is that for each BOP, it's built on several components, and we can add as many components as we need for operation. And we can specify how was our test result. This test was good, let's say. And we can add our lineup diagrams to our test details. Additional technical stuff. And we have valve tests. And test was good again. And these technical parameters are familiar for the oil field workers, so don't feel lost there. Bear with me. And the additional advantages are approvals. Here we can add people who are required to approve the test. So there are usually several people who are reviewing and sharing responsibility of the test, and they have to read and review the test, approve the test. So after we create a pressure test, just take for a second, you can see that it comes in a good format, standardized format in front of us. So here we can see all the details, all the diagrams that were attached, and all our checklists, they are checked or not. And we can also see that there are different positions from the company who need to review the test and approve it. As a well site leader, after I approve test, you see that my status is changed to approval, so my colleagues can see that what's the status of the test. Also, I can add additional files to my test. For example, the pressure graphs, the recent procedures, or maybe some documentation which is required for test. So it can be added to the test as well. And it will appear in my data history as well. You see it appeared here. So it is good for the people, not only for the workers, also additional advantages for the managers who are running more than one rig operation. So let's say the person is the manager of the Turkish petroleum company in drilling side, and there are more than one rigs like Fatih, Yavuz, Kanuni, which are actively working in the Black Sea. And while planning the activities, the person can go back and refer to what test happened in this particular rig and what's the next test deadline. So the managers can use their resources effectively, and they can manage operations more safely. Actually, this is the main features of our website. To wrap up and to conclude my presentation, actually, I would like to mention the three advantages, which is that unique database for all the tests, standardized version of the forms, because all different rigs has their different forms. With this website, we can standardize. And also, it's very good tool for planning ahead our operations. And I would like to thank our team, our software developer team, who is Efe, Duygu, Safi, who hardly worked on this project. And this is the end of our presentation. And I hope this will be helpful for the industry workers in the future. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you, Tural, so much for that presentation. Excellent, Tural. Thank you so much. I'm going to remove your stream now, just so you know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So well done, Tural. That was a great job. It's really interesting to see a product that was created by someone who actually works in the industry, who's identified a kind of a pain point. And this is something you have a unique insight into as someone who's working on rigs. So it's something I'd love to see you go ahead and commercialize. I think this is an idea. It's a product. It's one to watch. Put it that way. So I'll be following it very closely. So well done again, Tural and your team. Now, last but not least, we have CatchingApp. So I'm going to invite Okan to join us on stage. Let's wait for Okan to join us. And again, we're all in the same room, so I'm going to ask some questions, and then He's already muted. Well done, Okan. How are you today, Okan?
Feeling fine. After it's been a long week.
It's been a long week, you said. Yeah, exactly. How do you feel to be at the end of the bootcamp? Are you sad? Excited?
I mean, it's difficult to believe that like just 2 months ago, I entered the Wagon and now it's ending. It felt more like 2 years, to be fair, but I'm happy that I've learned so much in the journey.
I'm gonna take it as a good thing that it felt like 2 years. Like you got 2 years worth of knowledge.
It is.
All right. So why don't you, like tell us a little bit about what inspired you to build Catching Up, and then just take it away whenever you're ready. We can hear you, and we're excited to see it. Okay. Good luck.
All right. The main reason that I decided to build this app was that I had many international friends over the journey of my life. I had studied in China for 2 years, then in Belarus. I also have some friends in America. And one of the issues that we all face is that we don't know the time zones, the correct time zones to meet in. And that's the reason we have a solution for that. So it's called CatchingApp. And let me tell you more about it. Did you know, for example, that there are some countries in the world that have 2 time zones in the same city? And some reasons are political. And there are more than 100 time zones, not 100 time zones, but like at least 100 time zone names across the globe. So if you have a friend in, let's say, in Alaska, and you want to meet them online from Istanbul, you either have to text back and forth, or you have to use a calendar app. The thing with that is that calendar apps, like all these big business apps, are not very friendly for beginner users. And I've been tech savvy my entire life. Like I've been using computers since I was probably like 3, but not everyone is happy with that. So the main idea here is that first, it has to be easy. Second, it has to be relatively simple but also capable, but while being simple. And it's also kind of fun. It's for your friends and also family members. So my wife is from Colombia, and when she needs to meet her mother, I constantly have to think about, oh, like was she 8 hours back, or was it 7? Do they have daylight savings? And this solves some of that problem plus more. So let me make a new meeting. So when I come here, I get a grid with my pre-selected date. And let's say I'm going to invite a friend of mine, Sedef. I'm going to say, hey, Sedef, let's watch Netflix online. And what I do here is, since I'm in Istanbul, and I'm going to say, you know what? I'm probably going to be available in the evenings of all these days. And maybe, yeah, this looks good to me. When I make an event, Sedef gets an invitation. And in the meantime, let's say I have a friend called Ege, and Ege is going to send me an invitation for another event from another part of the world. And if I refresh my page, I will see that she already has sent me. And she said, online beer pong, long time no see. When I go to the event, I see that I don't need to know where she is from or what time zone she's using. She might be in Canada next week. She set it for her own time zone where she's going to be. And let's say I'm not going to be in Istanbul. I'm going to be in Hawaii. Who knows? Where will life take you? And I might go pick my availability. Let's say, well, it's too early. Well, yeah, let's be realistic. I'm going to be available at this time in Hawaii. And to make it easier to see, I'm going to confirm this event. After I confirm, I'm back at the main page. And from now on, I need to see if Sedef has already approved my invitation or accepted. And I see that, yeah, so these are the hours that Sedef is available in. Let's see, what day was this? On a Sunday. You know what? I think a Friday sounds better to me. Right after work, right after the demo week. And I'm going to set this meeting in stone. And there we go. It is approved. And also, again, based on my selection, set the meeting in stone. Now we know when to meet. And it's much easier than just going back and forth with email. You don't need to know what country your friend is in, or what country you're going to be, or what country they are going to be. It's all automatic, and it's flawless because it's all done in the magic of technology. Also, we have some activities that will be hand curated. There's so many things that you can do with your friends online. Like for a real example that I want to give, there's a drawing game online that I'm not going to name right now, but it's so much fun with 5 people, and not many people know about it. And if you could just do that with your friends, it's much better than just having a boring old phone call and not even having a sincere time with them. And that's about it. This app will make it easier for people to arrange meetings online or offline whenever they want. Thank you all.
Wow, Okan, fantastic. What a way to end the demo. Brilliant job, Okan. Thank you so much. Well done. I'm gonna remove you. But yeah, Okan, that was fantastic. Really impressed by your demo. I know you spent a lot of time on the product and the design. I think the design really struck me as very good, and the user experience. Like I've had the pleasure of using it, and it's genuinely a joy to use. And as someone with an international background, I could definitely see myself using this to contact my friends abroad or my family abroad as well. This is definitely something I would use. So congrats to you and the whole team. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed those demos as much as I did. We've been building up to this moment for 9 weeks now. As you can imagine, everyone's a little tense on demo day. So I'm really pleased. I've heard a couple of deep sighs of relief, and I'm really pleased as well that the demos went so well. I'd like to thank Ilyas, Tural, and Okan for presenting their demos so professionally and leading their teams over the last 3 weeks. And of course, a big thank you as well to the remaining /96. I think you've all done a fantastic job. You pushed yourself to the absolute limits, which I think is when you learn the most. So I think everyone deserves another round of applause. Well done, everyone. And so now what I'd like to do is I'd like to move on to a question and answer session. So please help me out. If you have any questions, if you're in the audience, if you're a friend or a family or an alumni, I'm sure you're all dying to ask some questions. So please feel free to type your questions in the question section on the right of the screen there. Let us know whether the question is for UpNext or whether it's for Smart-BOP or CatchingApp. And then I'll bring the respective speaker onto the stage so they can answer the questions. You can ask anything, whether it's about the projects, whether it's about the experience of the bootcamp, specifics about the bootcamp. Feel free to ask absolutely anything. And all you have to do is go to the questions section and ask your questions there. Or if you want, you can ask it in the chat section as well. I'm not too bothered by that. If I don't get any questions, I'm just gonna go ahead and this is a bit like my webinar. So I'm good at creating questions these days. So if I don't get any questions on the right here, I'm just gonna go ahead and ask Ilyas a few questions actually. Ilyas, you want to come onto the stage? I'm putting you on the spot. Don't forget to mute when you're not speaking, okay? All right, thank you very much. Ilyas, come and join.
Yeah.
So mute yourself. Okay, brilliant, well done. So I have a question for you, Ilyas. What do you think was the most challenging aspect of building this product?
Okay, the most challenging part, I think working as a team has like so many advantages. Also, there are like so many disadvantages. You learn so many things, but the collaborating with other people sometimes can be tough. And I think with this app, I learned how to work in a team and be a good member. Yeah, I think that was the important part for me.
Thanks. You can mute yourself. Well done. I mean, I think it's very important to learn how to work in a team. a lot of people in tech think, well, you can be a solo entrepreneur or founder, but actually a lot of tech requires teamwork. So that's one of the things that we really emphasize also through the active paired programming and getting to know how to work with your instructors and asking the right questions, and then definitely through projects weeks when you have to work in a team and collaborate, and you're no longer just solving challenges every day. So it brings a lot of additional challenges. So Ilyas, we also have a question for you from Hendrik, who's one of the alumni of Belgium, one of our beloved alumni who cycled from Brussels to Beyoğlu to join us. I had to say that. And so his question is, what could potential extensions be for your application? Like, what would you like to build that maybe you didn't have time to build?
We were thinking about adding like a payment option to our app, and we also really want to put a delivery service, delivery service to our app in the future, because right now past 2 weeks we didn't have time for that, but maybe in the future we try to do that, and maybe we can race with the Uber Eats or DoorDash or
I love your ambition, Ilyas. Thank you very much. And I'll be following you very closely, okay? So I'm going to move on to questions for the next team. Thank you very much, Ilyas. And